Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our Friday morning devotional. We're walking through the book of Philippians this week. One of my favorite books. Yesterday we went through Philippians 2, the beginning of it, talked about Christ's humility, example of humility. It's an incredible passage. And this morning we're gonna move a little bit forward, and we're gonna talk about what Paul calls lights in the world. Jesus references the same thing in his Sermon on the Mount, and calls we're the light of the world. We're salt in the earth, right? Jesus uses the same terminology. And so this morning, Paul's going to just kind of share what it looks like through these passages of what it means to be light in the world. It's Philippians 2, 12 through 18. Let's read it together. Therefore, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, so now, not only as in my presence, but more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. For it is God who works in you, both to will and to work for his good pleasure. Do all things without grumbling or disputing, that you may be blameless and innocent children, without blemish in the midst of a crooked, twisted generation, among whom you shine as lights in the world, holding fast to the word of life, so that in the day of Christ I may be proud that I did not run in vain or labor in vain. Even if it be poured out as a drink offering upon the sacrificial offering of your faith, I am glad and rejoice with you all. Likewise, you should also be glad and rejoice with me. A lot going on. I kind of see it as three different kind of points here. The first one is if we're going to be lights in this world, we're going to be lights who labor. Right? Lights who labor. Verses 12 through 13 is talking about working in his presence and outside of his presence, right? When Paul's there, you should be working out of response to salvation. The same when Paul isn't there, right? It's this kind of idea of working out, right? I don't really know much about that, but you work out of response for something, right? Out of response. When it comes to our faith, when it comes to salvation, right? We don't work for our salvation, we work in response to our salvation. And so Paul's talking about that there, but he's also saying what he's calling for is that we're consistent in our character, right? That we're consistent in our character, right? That we're not just wearing a Christianese mask and Christianese language when we're just our Christian friends, but we're who we are throughout, when we're with our neighbors, when we're with our friends who don't know Jesus, or at work, that our character itself is being consistent. So I guess, the question is, as we're discipling and working out our faith, right, working out of our faith, right, do we have the same discipline as we would as a physical well-being? So that's verses 12 to 13. Verse 14 up into 16, it says, Paul says, lights that listen. Right? We're going to look different in this world when we actually listen. I love it. It's even from Christ's example of just humility, right? Of just considering others. And there's a posture, right, of doing things without grumbling or disputing. How does that happen? The posture of listening, right? When we're actually listening, we're not really grumbling, we're not really disputing, right? It's even just thinking that James talks about, we're just quick to listen, slow to speak. And Paul, he's fearful that the grumblings, the unnecessary questioning, it's gonna dim our lights. It's gonna dim the lights of those in the church of Philippi here. And Paul, it's just the same way he instructs Titus and Timothy. It's like, don't get caught up in these foolish controversy, these unnecessary quarrels, right? Use your energies for the primary concerns, for contending for the gospel. Use your platform to hold loose the things of this world and hold fast to the word of life, right? Verse 16, God's truth, hold fast. Why? Well, the third thing, because we want to be lights for life, right? We just don't want a small season of being lights. We want to be lights for life. Verse 17 to 18, it says so that in the day the day that of Christ, that may be poured out as a drink offering, right? It might be an offering. Paul's saying that it is all worth it, because I want you to be lights that last, right? The longevity of our illumination of Christ. And when we walk as disciples, we're making disciples, right? We're in it for the long haul. We're in it for the long haul. We're in it not for our own results, but to be faithful to the Great Commission, right? And the results, those are Christ's work. But our hearts as disciples, we desire longevity in our own lives and the lives of those who we invest. We want lights that last, all for the sake of Christ. So we fight the good fight. We want to be lights who labor. We want to be lights who listen. We want to be lights for life. Hope that's encouraging. Figure out maybe an area that you might be just struggling. Maybe it's listening. Maybe it's just laboring. Maybe it's just seeing the long haul. Whatever it is, be praying for you. Continue to read God's word and just spend time with him. Have a great day.